What is good, YouTube? Welcome back to Odd Talks and Gaming. Today I have a Daedalus deck profile. Now, the skill we're playing with is the Umi skill. That way, I think it's called Mystic Depths, I believe. And so it's just a field spell skill. You start the game with it. You have no drawback by starting the game with it, and it does exactly what this card here does. Gives your fish, sea serpent, thunder, and aqua monsters 200 attack and defense. All machines and pyros on the field lose 200 attack and defense. So it's really neat to see in this format. One of the biggest reasons why is because XYZ is a deck in the format right now, one of the best decks, and so this card just makes all their monsters lose 200 attack and defense. Unless, they bring out this guy here and then discard one and then destroy it. But that's why we play a second one. For when the breaker pops it, whenever the cosmic hits it, or whenever they XY dragon cannon it. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into the deck profile. We play the apprentice package. Actually, I'm just going to start with waters. We play Daedalus. Daedalus we're playing at 2. I don't think we need to play this card any more than this. I think it's perfectly fine sitting here at 2 in the deck. If you guys don't know what it does, you send a face-up Umi, you control the graveyard, destroy all other cards on the field. It's like insane. It's like I think the card's called Judgment Dragon of the speed, but it's for Speed Duels format. And I was messing around with a couple ideas on how this deck should be built. Like, should it be a pure water deck? Should it be like a trap monster deck? And I went for a trap monster deck. I feel like it's a lot better. It's a trap monster and anti-meta deck. So Daedalus is like our main boss monster of it, either wing con. We also play the Apprentice package, triple Apprentice Magician, 2 Old Vindictive Magician. This is actually in here specifically for spellproof armor decks, because the Old Vindictive Magician can just pop the Jinzos, which is like the biggest problem with this deck since we're playing trap monsters. But yeah, so apprentices float into the Old Vindictives, and we're able to pop the Jinzos or other problematic monsters with this. Also, Man-Eater Bug's just a good card to have, so having Old Vindictive in the deck is really good. Lastly on our list is Kaiku. Playing this at 2. This shuts down XYZ right now. Like I said, this deck is like an anti-meta deck, so we're just using this to shut down XYZ, using this card to stop the Haunted Shrines from being activated from graveyard. Like, this card's insanely good. Also, when it does damage, you just banish your opponent's monsters from the graveyard. So if they early game discard one of their Night Assailants, you can get that out of the grave real fast. You can get their zombie monsters out of the grave fast too. Their Zombina targets out of the graveyard. Like, Kaiku is just really strong in this format, and I recommend you guys test him out if you haven't already. He's really powerful. Going into our spell lineup, we have 1 Umi. So this is just whenever our Mystic Depths field spell gets destroyed. Levia-Dragon Daedalus still has the ability to use his effect. So yeah, that's why we play Umi at 1. You can cut it if you want to. I do play a 21 card deck, so you're more than welcome to cut this card. But yeah, the other two, or the other spell cards we're playing is Book of Moon. We're playing this card at 2 instead of 3 like we were last format. There's no reason I feel like with Floodgate Trap Hole being as good as it is in the format to play this card at any more than 2 right now. Maybe later on we'll come to a format where we want to play it at 3. But with Spellproof being like the best deck, this card's not as powerful as what it once was in the Moss Interconflict format and XYZ format. So 2 is fine. Soul Exchange is at 2 in this deck. Now this card could go to 1 as well. I was playtesting it last night a little bit, and I was just like, this card's a little underwhelming actually, and it really is. So you guys don't even have to play this card if you don't want to. But Soul Exchange is, in my opinion, probably the worst card in the deck. And like I said, play it at 1, play it at 0. It won't really affect too much. It's really just in here to help cheat out your Daedalus just a little bit faster. That way you steal one of the opponents, you interconflict kind of one of the opponent's monsters, you lose your battle phase while doing it. And then when you do, you also tribute off one of your floated spellcaster monsters or one of your trap monsters. Going into the trap lineup, we play 2 Floodgate Trap Hole because it partners well with our Book of Moon. Also, it just kind of kills every fusion monster that gets summoned in the XYZ deck. Stops the big birds in the not the interconflict deck, the Spellproof Armor deck. And not only that, but it also pretty much makes it to where your opponent can't get aggressive with the Viral Despair deck. So, very powerful trap card, staple in every deck that you're going to see in this format. Sorry, I was taking a drink. The other cards that we're playing is 3 Swamp Mirror. Swamp Mirror has this cool ability in the deck where it says it gains any type and attribute you want it to, so you make it into a water aqua, and then Umi all of a sudden gives it a 200 attack boost, making this a 2000 beater. So, very strong, easy card to be aggressive with. Use it to tribute summon out your Daedalus when you need to. I like it a lot. And then lastly is our Wall, Metal Reflect Sign. We're playing this card at 2. I would definitely continue to play this card. Like, I wouldn't cut this card if I was, like, playing this deck. Reason why is because it's a 3000 defender. Not a lot of cards in the current format can beat over it, like attack over it, especially like Spellproof, Viral can't beat over it. And then what's the other deck that's like insane right now? XYZ. So the only way they're getting over this with XYZ is by, I think this card might kill it. Then target one face-up spell trap card your opponent controls, destroy that target. Yeah, they either has the XY Dragon Cannon in it, or they have the XYZ Dragon Cannon in it. So, yeah, that's your main deck. It's really cool, a lot of fun to play. I wouldn't necessarily call it like the best competitive deck, but I'm sure somebody can fix it up to their own accord, and then like this deck be absolutely bonkers, because this deck is actually really fun to play. I was having so much fun last night testing it. For a side deck, it's actually a pretty simple side deck. So we play the Old Vindictive Magician, and we play this as a third copy for the Spellproof matchup. Same with the Sphere Kribos. Spellproof, I feel like is our biggest. Spellproof is our biggest enemy, I guess, like hardest matchup. And so we want to get the Old Vindictives and the Sphere Kribos in here. That way we can at least get out the Soul Exchanges and the books. Like, playing one book is fine because you can flip your old Vindictive face down again with it, but I wouldn't play any more than one if you're playing against that in the format. So playing the Sphere Kribos to, make for the books, play the old Vindictive for the other Soul Exchange would be fine. Soul Release is a one-of in our deck, or our side deck. This is so we can hit the Viral Despair targets, the Zombita targets, and the Haunted Shrine targets. So yeah, this card is insane in this format right now. I would definitely be playing it in every side deck. And then lastly is Lost Wind. Like last format, we're still playing this at 2 in almost every side deck because XYZ is bonkers, and we want to be trying to get that off the field as much as possible. If you guys didn't see last week's showdown on Rook's Twitch, he just posted, I believe, today. It's either today or yesterday. And XYZ was the mirror match for the format. So it's just proven more and more that it's going to be one of our top contending decks. So you want to make sure you're main decking your Floodgates, main decking your books, and or side decking your Lost Winds. I've seen a lot of people even opt to main deck Lost Wind in this format. But it's whatever you guys want to do personally. Extra deck is just a bluff for Waking. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this video. All right, so we're showing both hands. We're playing against a player, Wet Flex. This is one of my childhood best friends. His name's Alex. And the deck he's playing is the Spellproof Armor deck. I figured since I was telling you guys, like, hey, this is our hardest matchup, I'd show you, like showcase you how the deck plays against it. So I was like, we'll use this replay. Without further ado, let me just jump right into this. So he beats us in the rock, paper, scissors. And I believe he opts to make us go first. Yeah, so he's on to a weird tech with his deck, playing Waking the Dragon, which I'm not against. It's, a crazy card. It makes it to where I can't be hitting his shrinks and books. The only problem becomes, like, if I destroy his fusion monster, it turns off his skill, but at that point, it's like, he's in such a good position, why would it really matter? He draws for the Jinzo, sets the Waking, sets the Shrink, sets the book, passes turn off to me. I end up drawing into the Floodgate, and I set the Floodgate and summon the Kaiku. Kaiku enters into battle, and then it gets Book of Moon. We pass turn off to the opponent, and then he ends up using the skill and then summoning the Big Bird. We're going to Floodgate the Big Bird because it's a 2300 beater, and we don't have a lot in our deck to stop it. Draw for turn into the Metal Reflect Slime, and then we flip our Kaiku into attack position. Entering into battle, we attack into the opponent's defense monster. And then, he had a lag. And so we attack into the Ally of Justice Colossalus. Opponent sets the other Shrink, I believe, here. And then passes turn off to us. We draw for turn, drawing into the Old Vindictive, setting it for when the Jinzo comes out, and then attacking directly for 1800. Using Kaiku's effect to banish the Big Bird from graveyard, and then passing turn. Opponent draws for turn, drawing into the Book of Moon. Not much you can do in this situation. We're going to go ahead and set the book, flip the Apprentice Magician, and then attack with Kaiku, which is going to get shrunk here, and then attack with the Apprentice Magician. if you want to know why I flipped this, it's because it was exact damage if he didn't have Shrink. Opponent draws for turn, drawing into the Zoma's of Spirit. We draw, enter into battle, attack with Kaiku. He Zomas, and we're going to book the Zoma face down, redeclaring attack into the opponent, and he admits defeat going into the next game. So the reason he didn't do well in that game is because, you know, he was stuck with those Jinzos in hand. He couldn't really successfully get the Colossalus to the field without us doing something to it. Also, he only saw one Colossalus, I believe, that entire game, and that's just not helpful at all. So going into the next game. Also, I have a serious question about Spellproof. So, can you set with this card? I know this skill's not flipped up right now, but can you set with it? But yeah, let's just get back to this. I set Metal Reflect Slime face down. I set Book of Moon face down, and then I set the Old Vindictive face down. Right now, my hand's not looking very optimal for this game. Opponent draws for turn, drawing into the Summoner's Art. Using the Summoner's Art to get the Colossalus. Using the skill, here's what it does, by the way. It doesn't say anything about set. You can normal summon one machine, normal monster with one less tribute. And it just says normal summon, not normal set. So, I don't know. Somebody probably has the answer to that. He summons the Colossalus, sets the Shrink, and then battles into the Old Vindictive Magician, which gets flipped, and then pops the Colossalus. We draw for turn, drawing into the Apprentice. We set the Apprentice, we pass turn. The opponent uses the Summoner's Art again, drawing into the Colossalus. Like, he has everything he needs this game. And then he soul exchanges our Apprentice Magician, summoning the Blowback Dragon. Using the Blowback Dragon, and he targets the correct card, being the Metal Reflect Slime, and he gets double heads, destroying the Metal Reflect Slime, which is kind of like our only saving grace in the situation we're in, because we can't book it because, you know, he has Spellproof out. Also, Mystic Depths doesn't affect the machine monsters, by the way, because of Spellproof, in case you guys were wondering. So I go ahead, no battle that turn, by the way, and I set the Old Vindictive Magician and set it face down. He sets the Zoma, summons the Big Bird, uses his Blowback Dragon, gets a Tails, I believe the next one's a Heads, and then I actually don't remember if this was a Heads or not. Okay, it's a Tails. So he doesn't get it. It attacks with the Ally of Justice. We're able to pop the Blowback Dragon and then draw for turn. Drawing into the Apprentice Magician, we set it for turn and pass it back to him. To which he's going to summon the other Colossalus, attack into the Apprentice Magician, which is going to get out the other Apprentice Magician, which is in turn going to get out the Old Vindictive Magician. Now, I misplay on my next turn. I'm a dummy for it. I set the Swamp Mirror, and I end turn. What I could have done is I could have flipped the Old Vindictive Magician, popped the Colossalus, booked the Old Vindictive Magician, and I could have successfully added both monsters, and I would have been in a better position. But instead, he draws into the Jinzo, summons the Jinzo, attacks into the Old V, which he knew what it was. I don't know why he didn't go Jinzo Colossalus, but I popped the Jinzo, and then we go on to my next turn, drawing into the Sphere Creepo. Opponent draws into the book, uses the Colossalus, to which I take the 2300, and I draw for turn, drawing into the other Swamp Mirror. Opponent draws for turn, and summons Zoma of the Spirit in defense mode, sets the Waking the Dragon, and then battle phases into us directly for 23. We're going to switch that monster to defense mode, draw for turn, use the Swamp Mirror, and then set the Floodgate face down. We're going to battle into the Colossalus, it gets shrunk, and then we're going to end turn. I don't know why I didn't secondary Swamp Mirror there. Opponent draws into the Zoma, switches both monsters to attack mode, sets the book, and then attacks into the Zoma Spirit. I don't know why he also didn't book here, just destroy my monster. But we're going to book the Zoma, destroying it. He's going to attack into the Colossalus, destroying the Swamp Mirror, and pass turn off to us. We draw into the Daedalus one turn late. This is what we should have drew last turn, because then we could have, summoned both Swamp Mirror, summoned Daedalus, and destroyed the field. We end turn off to the opponent, who attacks us directly. We're going to use the Swamp Mirror here. He's going to book it face down, and then we're going to go proceed into game 3. Going into our next game, I think he opts to make us go, or we opt to make him go first. So he's going to go ahead. He's going to set the Waking the Dragon face down, the Zoma face down, and the Book of Moon face down. We're going to draw for turn, summoning the Kaiku, setting the Swamp Mirror, and then attacking directly for the 1800. The opponent's going to book it, and it's going to be his turn drawing into the Jinzo. using the summon the spirit to summon the monster in defense mode, tributing off the monster, and then summoning the Jinzo out. We're going to use our sided sphere Karibo, switching the Jinzo to defense mode. This is why it's in the side, by the way. This is the exact reason, because right now we're shut down unless we had a way to get around it. We flip our Kaiku, set our Old Vindictive, set our book, and then attack into the Jinzo. The opponent draws for turn to Summoner's Art, and then summons Big Bird. Big Bird attacks into Kaiku. We have nothing to stop it, so we're going to go ahead and take our 500 life points. We draw for turn, set the floodgate for the next Kaiku, and then destroy the Ally of Justice. We're going to attack our opponent for 450 life points, and then end turn. Opponent draws for turn, drawing into the other Big Bird, uses his spell proof to summon the Ally of Justice Colossalus, and then sets it face down. We draw for turn to the other Apprentice Magician, switch our Old Vindictive to defense mode, and pass the turn back to the opponent, who draws into the book and sets. We activate book, setting our Old Vindictive face down, and then flip some of the Old Vindictive to pop the Ally of Justice, and then proceed to attack him again with 450. Opponent draws for turn, drawing into the other book, uses his Dark Factory of Mass Production, and then is able to get both of his Ally of Justices back from the graveyard. That card's insane in this deck. Summons the Colossalus, sets the book, and then attacks into the Old Vindictive, to which on attack declaration we book it face down, and then pop the monster. We end turn, and then end up drawing into the Kaiku. We decide to set the Apprentice Magician face down, since we're going to need to get rid of the other ally or other Big Bird in his hand. Drawing for turn, drawing into the Waking, summons the Ally of Justice Colossalus, and then attacks into the Apprentice Magician. Apprentice floats into Old Vindictive, and then the turn's passed off to us. Drawing for turn, we flip the Old Vindictive, and then pop the Ally of Justice, and then attack him again for 450. And end turn. Opponent draws into the Jinzo and passes turn off to us, to which we go into the Levia-Dragon Daedalus. We bait out the Book of Moon by using the Swamp Mirror here, and then we tribute off both of our monsters to summon out Daedalus. We use its effect to tribute off the Mystic Depths to destroy all cards on the field. Our opponent chains Book of Moon to set our monster face down, and then Waking the Dragon gets popped. Here, this is why I'm looking for a ruling. Ultimate Dragon gets summoned, he sets another Waking, and then he attacks into our Daedalus. We were in a perfect position up until that happened. At this point, there's no way for us really to fight off the Ultimate Dragon. So he goes for the Summoner's Art, gets the Big Bird, and then summons the Big Bird, attacks with the Big Bird, and then attacks with the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon for game. So yeah, Waking the Dragon, incredible card. Really shouldn't be in the format. But hey, I love this card. I've used it so much that's unreal. It just goes to show that, you know, as long as this card's in the format, like, crazy stuff can always happen. It's like the comeback of the century card. But yeah, Daedalus there. The booking of the Daedalus to set it face down, and then being able to summon that monster was incredible, because Daedalus isn't once per turn, and so if he wouldn't have booked me there and summoned this, I would have summoned or activated my other Umi, used my other Umi's effect, and blew up the field again, and then I would still been in a perfect situation. So that was a very smart idea on his part, just booking it. Like, that was so smart. And then the Dark Factory of Mass Production came in clutch for him this game. This card was incredible. Being able to get back both of his resources that he used, like, oh my god. I saw that card activate, and I was like, now I have to waste all my Old Vindictives out of my deck for it. Like, oh man. But yeah, the deck played really well, played exactly how I wanted it to. I made a few misplays here and there, as well as he did. But that's the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, you know? Game of speed duels. You always want to, like, learn from your mistakes. And that's why I like doing these replays. I like to learn, like, how I'm messing up, what I can do better, and where I can go from here. But yeah, if you guys like this kind of content, make sure you leave a like. If you like me, make sure you subscribe. As always, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.